I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and this is Genesis Does. When it comes to the Blaster Master series, there's the original game for NES in 1988, which was excellent. Then there was the remake Blaster Master Zero from 2017, originally for Switch, later ported to every other console under the sun of the modern era. And that too is excellent, as are the sequels Blaster Master Zero 2 and 3. Everything between 1988 and 2017 is, well, sus. To give you a little idea of how sus Blaster Master 2 is, we need to go back a little bit and explain something. The original Blaster Master for NES was a localized version of a Famicom game called Cho Wakushi Senki Meta Fight. Blaster Master 2 is not a localized version of Cho Wakushi Senki Meta Fight 2. In fact, it's not a localized version of anything. It was created entirely without input from the original team and was only released in North America. Japan wanted nothing to do with this. To make it even more obvious how problematic this game is, it was originally in development for the Genesis and the Super Nintendo at the same time. They scrapped the Super Nintendo version and only kept this one. Now that's telling when you consider the fact that Blaster Master was a Famicom/NES game. They would have had a ready-made market for Super Nintendo and Super Famicom, and they were like, nope, 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 nope to the nope. We're not putting this on our system. Genesis can have it. See you later. Now, unless you have a complete in-box copy of the game, the plot is not going to be apparent to you because the game does nothing to tell you anything about it whatsoever. That's always a sign of good game design, right? You create a sequel to a game and don't include any reference to the previous game in an opening cutscene, an intro, even scrolling text of any kind. So I will go ahead and explain it for those of you who don't have the instruction manual in a complete in-box copy. In the timeline of the series, this game takes place 4 years after the original Blaster Master, where our protagonist Jason battled radioactive mutants hiding under the earth in an effort to rescue his pet frog named Fred. The only reminder he has of this incident is SOPHIA, or Sophia, the robotic tank that he used to defeat them. He has hidden it in an abandoned barn. Lightning strikes and destroys it along with Sophia and knocks him unconscious. He wakes up, sees Sophia in pieces, and all of the parts that he collected from Blaster Master 1 that he used to upgrade Sophia are now conveniently missing. The creatures that destroyed the barn and Sophia with lightning have malevolent designs. They want to dig all the way to the Earth's core and knock the planet off its axis to completely annihilate every living creature on Earth. Naturally, what comes next is that Jason rebuilds Sophia as best he can and then sets off on a quest to stop whoever destroyed it in the first place and defeat their malevolent plans, which he can't fully know the extent of until he goes on this treacherous journey. Unintentionally, I think I've made this game sound better than it is. That plot synopsis would lead you to believe this has potential and could be a fun and exciting game, but no. It doesn't have any of the charm of the original Blaster Master, and not just because it's a 16-bit version with graphical updates, because, quite frankly, you can update Blaster Master and do it right. Blaster Master Zero proved that. Of course, Blaster Master Overdrive also proved that you can get it horribly wrong, which is a topic for somebody like Shane, aka Rerez, on Just Bad Games. No, the problem here isn't that it's a graphic update. The problem here isn't even that it's a sequel that the Japanese market didn't want. The problem here is that it controls terribly and it's no fun to play. First of all, your gun is only operated by using up and down on the D-pad, which might seem intuitive after a while if you get used to it, but in practice, it's absolutely horrible to control it this way because you either don't hit the target you're aiming at or you're aiming the wrong way when you're trying to hit something because you can't switch it back fast enough. In fact, a lot of the enemies are ground-based, meaning they're below the level of Sophia, so you can't even hit them when you've got your gun horizontal. Your shots go above or over them. So why on earth did they design it this way? Only to torment and frustrate you, because this can't have been an intentional choice that they thought, this will make the game more fun. They either did it to screw with you or they just didn't care. I'm leaning towards just didn't care. I don't know that they were actually that malevolent, but it sure feels that way when you're trying to shoot at anything. On top of that, the physics of the game feel entirely wrong. When you try to make a jump, you'll either jump not far enough or you'll jump too far. The weight of Sophia is off here. You've got incredible zero gravity when you jump straight up, but when you try to jump forward or backward, forget about it. You're just not going to land where you think you're going to land. Now, one of the things that makes both Blaster Master and Blaster Master Zero so appealing is that you switch back and forth between these side-scrolling tank missions and top-down missions where you explore on foot as Jason, clearing paths, getting upgrades, and defeating bosses as they come. Blaster Master 2 tries to do this. When you're in the overhead view, Sophia rotates the turret of her gun with the B and C buttons on the Genesis controller. I guess that works better than the way you control it in the side-scrolling missions. And then there's also the Jason alone missions, where you're just firing in whatever direction you're facing as you try to gain whatever power-up is hidden away in the area you're in. This is all great in theory, but if you actually have enough enjoyment of Blaster Master 2 to get to these sections, more power to you. I really don't think I can do it without save states, and I don't find Blaster Master 2 appealing enough to want to bash my way through it by making a little progress, making a save state, making a little progress, making a save state, rinse, lather, repeat. I mean, why? Why is it designed this way? I just don't know. And if you're playing this on an original Sega Genesis or an Analog Mega SG, you don't have those save states. Not unless you've got some sort of Super Mega EverDrive Pro type product loaded in with a copy of the ROM, and it has the ability to create save states on original hardware. Other than that, you are going to be in for a bad time, as Sans would say in Undertale. So I do not recommend Blaster Master 2. And critics back in the day did not feel very fond about it either, with an average score of 46.67% over 3 reviews, according to the Wikipedia section, which even they note needs expansion, but maybe the reason it hasn't been expanded is because the game was terrible and so few people reviewed it that nobody else wants to talk about Blaster Master 2. It's forgotten for a reason. Maybe it's not as bad as Blaster Master Overdrive on the Wii, but it really isn't any good either. So, Genesis does what Nintendo don't, but Nintendo don't want to do this either. Blaster Master 2 is best skipped, especially when you consider it goes for $26 loose and $71 complete. Skip it.